Hello everyone, this is D K Chouhan from ADARSH MANDIR, SHANKAR PEETH, Mount Abu. Today we are going to start a chapter in English for class 12th. The chapter is from the textbook Flamingo and the title is The Last Lesson by Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist and a short story writer. Initially he was a school teacher, then he opted for writing. Now let's discuss the background of this chapter, the last lesson. Actually, the last lesson is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War led by Bismarck. So France was defeated by Prussia and the district of Alsace and Lorraine went under the rule of Prussia. Now German language was imposed on the French-speaking districts of Alsace and Lorraine. The people were not allowed to speak in French and even they were not allowed to learn French. So this is how it had its effect. Now the theme, the basic theme is the effect of war on the people of the defeated nations, of the defeated countries, and the change in their lifestyles, how they face brutally at the hands of those who are the winners in the war. Then the importance of native language, how important a mother tongue is, or you can say the linguistic identity of a person, how important it is for a person. So let's discuss some of its characters. The main character here is Franz. F-R-A-N-Z. Franz is a school boy who studies there in one of the districts of France and he is a student. Then there is a teacher, a French language teacher. His name is M. Hamel. M. Hamel. So these are the main characters. Actually there are certain other characters also, but they are only for a mention. So let's start this chapter. The chapter, it starts very simply with friends going for school. Friends going for school. Friends started for school very late that morning. So he was afraid of being scolded because M. Hamel, the teacher, the French teacher, was to question them on participles and he didn't know even the first letter of it. Now he thought of running away in the fields and spending the day out there. The warm, bright day, the chirping of the birds, and the Prussian soldiers drilling in the back of the sawmill. So this was all tempting him to stay and spend the day out. But he resisted. He stayed there. He resisted his temptation and thought that it's better that I should go to school. The next the part is at the town hall. So what happens at the town hall actually? At the town hall. Now, while he was going to school, there was a crowd that was in front of the bulletin board, which is at the town hall. Now, most of the news, the bad news actually had come from the same bulletin board. Now, Watcher, the blacksmith, who was standing there, he asked friends not to hurry or not to go fast, as he assured that he would get enough time to reach to school, okay, or he would reach to the school in time. Now, scene at the school. Let's discuss scene at school. Now, anyhow, Franz, he reaches the school. Usually there was a great bustle when the school began. But that day, especially that day, everything was quiet as if it was Sunday morning. So through the windows, friends saw his classmates already in their places, and Hamel, he was walking up and down there with his iron ruler under his arm. Now, as friends saw him, he was afraid. So friends opened the door quietly and went in. He blushed and was frightened. Hamel very kindly asked him to go to his seat. He didn't rebuke him at all. Now, as friends went inside the classroom, friends noticed that their teacher, he was wearing a new dress, a green shirt that was frilled, a green coat, I mean to say. Then there was a black silk cap he was wearing, and these dresses he actually used to wear, or this dress he actually used to wear on special days just like prize distribution days, or at the time of inspection. He even noticed that there were elder citizens who were sitting there down on the back benches. Now all those benches at that time, they had been empty. Earlier means they were empty those days. So this child, friends, he was surprised that how could this happen, that these back benches are being occupied by the village elders. Okay. Now after that, Hamel said that it was the last lesson. It was his announcement. He was going to make an announcement that day. He announced that it was their last French lesson that he would give, and henceforth only German was to be taught in the schools of Elsick and Lorraine, and the new master would come the next day. This was their last French lesson, and he wanted them to be attentive.